everybody, it's Tim Pohanka. I am joined with people that were so happy to get a gold medal once they had it bronze. Welcome to the show, everybody.
That's good.
I'm Tim Pohanka.
Robbie Perry.
Nick Hall.
And joining us today for the first time,
Devlin Riley.
all right, and we are definitely proof that nobody here had any talent. So, everyone, we're going to start off with our favorite episode, our favorite segment here that you kicked off. So, I'm going to let you go kick it off for us.
All right, I'm sharing the video right now. Here we go. Now I'm live on Facebook. All right, so we're going to do the scapegoat and the goat of the week. We started this last week, so I'm going to start with my scapegoat. My scapegoat are men's American soccer haters. Because yesterday and this last week, Pulisic, he scored back-to-back. He scored in back-to-back games. He scored against Man City, who was trying to win the Premier League title. And then he almost scored 2 other goals. He was the man of the match. He's also only 21 years old. And then also Gio Reyna, who started his first game this past weekend, and he had an assist for Dortmund, and he's only 17. So take that, haters. And my goat of the week is...
Whoa. Well, we have to talk about this. You're not gonna go past that. So what you're saying is that once we get about 10 other guys, we got a shot.
Well, we have a couple... I have been saying this for a long time. You know, being a big Bills fan, I felt like I always had to defend how good they were. I was always the biggest Buffalo Bills stan. Now I don't actually have to do it. I feel like now they're actually good, so I don't have to defend them. Men's American soccer, it's just how they're organizing things. It's not the talent. They do not have a severe lack of talent. It's just they can't organize worth crap. Or get them together individually. I mean, this is the best talent we've ever had by far. By far. I mean, we have people in a Premier League starting for Chelsea, one of the top 3 teams. Well, I'm going to say top 5 known teams, and not only is he playing for him, he's starting. He's like a worldwide name.
But how are you going to build a team off of? I mean, so you got a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old. So by the time we've got anyone else to join them, they're going to be 45 and 102.
We have a couple other guys, and this is the thing about our the soccer now. If you watch highlights, Pulisic is his name. If you watch highlights of him, no American has ever been able to do anything that he's done. So even that, I mean, will help. We've never had somebody who was a playmaker. It was always just get in the box, crowd the box, and then hope for a counter. Never hey, give him the ball, and he will make 2 or 3 guys miss. He will put highlights out there. American soccer was always ugly. I mean, men's American soccer was always ugly.
Yeah, exactly. Let's be sure that we're clarifying this.
I was to say, not women's. Women's American soccer is beautiful.
So maybe we could take a few of them, put them on the team, and maybe they would have a shot.
Or whoever puts their team together, get them to help put the men's team together.
The American soccer right now for men's soccer has been historically a lot like the Spurs. They don't have the flash. They have it's a system.
It's a system, but it's not a good system.
That to go.
What they do is they just basically crowd the box and then hope to counter, and it's really boring to watch. It's not exciting, but then you have these young stars that by themselves are playmakers, and that is something that is obviously TV's loving it. But if you can build a team around 2 guys that are like that. Now, obviously, our big problem are defense, but I mean, if you just score 2 goals and just crowd the box, and then just crowd the box.
So basically, we're going to cherry pick.
Yes.
And we're going to put 2 guys out there and just try for breakaways all the time.
And then score, and then if you get up 2 goals,
that's age group soccer all over again.
Then everyone just crowd the box because we have. I mean, our defensive backs, we just don't.
I saw a sieve that could stop more.
Say what?
I saw a sieve.
Yeah. I mean, we have that. They have a severe lack of talent, the back, but offensively, which is really
still more
unlike,
than us, but yeah,
for sure. Which is so unlike American soccer that usually we're always good defense, good goalies, but suddenly now we have good scorers and good people that can push offensively, which is from a viewer. Very exciting. Very exciting. Because now, at least, even if we lose, at least it'd be worth watching and not just.
I mean, who knows? If they keep playing and they keep making these big plays, maybe they'll get a raise and be paid more.
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, no. Maybe if
they make
they
the World
actually,
Cup.
if they actually can win, maybe the women will get paid more.
There we go.
Because since that was what the judge said, is that because because the men's team can't win, the women don't get paid as
the
much,
women's team
which
doesn't get
makes
paid.
clearly no sense.
No sense. Especially that the men's team can't even make the World Cup. While the
we
women's
gotta-
win
They
the
can't
World
even get
Cup.
out of the qualifying.
While you were talking, Robbie, we got an interesting comment from Mark Bass. He says, "Get a haircut."
Oh man, Mark. I'm not cutting it until we play baseball, and so it could be soon, or it could be really, really long. Locks of love. Okay, so I'll go to my GOAT now. My GOAT is the 2021 Hall of Fame game. As you guys probably know, the Cowboys and Steelers were supposed to play this year in the Hall of Fame game, and that got canceled. So that means they got plenty of time to scout, and it's going to be the greatest Hall of Fame game of all time. So the 2021 Hall of Fame game against the Cowboys and Steelers, which is kind of, I guess, a scapegoat somewhat this year. There's not going to be a Hall of Fame game this year, which is... And the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremonies also.
Well, I mean, but the thing that the game is, it's a preseason game.
Oh, it's not even a preseason. It's a preseason game. Yeah, it's
a school
awful.
scrimmage.
It's like
awful football. I mean, it's terrible. Maybe starters play one series because all those teams have to play. The teams that play have to play 5 games.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count as a preseason game. That they play 5 games. So no, I mean 90% of the Hall of Fame game are all guys that are gone, like cut. Like sometimes the starters don't even play at all in the Hall of Fame game. So that's why I had it. It's like, well, now maybe they're going to have plenty of time to scout and get ready for it, because usually it's like right when it starts, you get excited, football's back, and then you're like, oh, this is so bad.
It's the first quarter that you watch.
Yeah, like not even the first. It's like the first series, and then suddenly you're like, oh, now I get
It's the pregame show. You're getting excited for the pregame.
Yeah, like now I understand why I hate preseason football so much.
All right, well, Devlin, we're going to give you a chance to join in on this.
It's
live too, by the way.
I know, and I'm not okay with that. So I was told that we did not have to have a lot of knowledge about what's going on in sports, and y'all are just sitting here. And I'm trying to keep up, and I'm like,
we're just making it all up.
oh yeah, oh okay, good. So then I can just right.
There you go. I mean, we're like regular news now. We just make it up.
I was so prepared for this too. So is it my turn to?
It is your turn.
So, which Tim helped me out a little bit with this, but what is it? The GOAT?
The GOAT.
Yeah,
The
the
GOAT.
GOAT. The GOAT.
Yeah.
Okay, the GOAT is all of the NASCAR drivers pushing Bubba's car to the front. The community, kind of like what we have here in Fredericksburg. We have that sense of community. We support each other. So I would say that is like such a powerful action that they did to show their support for him.
I mean, considering NASCAR made the decision to remove the Confederate flag,
right?
And to go out there and do this, I think it is a pretty amazing thing. I mean, to watch all the drivers move it up there. They've honored different drivers in the past for different things.
Yeah.
And to sit there and say, hey, look, we're going to stand as one. I think that is so.
Especially coming from NASCAR. Historically, you wouldn't think they would be the ones.
How crazy is it, and ironic in a way, that NASCAR is leading the charge in being progressive with these kind of changes across our sports world? I mean, you would think, no ill will towards NASCAR. I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of them. But you would think, based on the stereotypes of your fan base, that they'd be the last one to jump on board. And here they are, the pioneers.
Well, and look, they are suffering because of it,
no doubt,
from some of their fan base.
Absolutely.
Of course.
But, when you look at what their responsibility is in the human community.
Yes.
But now the other side of the coin of this is to keep in mind, that means that had this not happened, the Confederate flag would have still been flying at Talladega.
Yes.
And this wouldn't have been an issue. Now, would Bubba Watson have come up and said, hey, look, I want to talk about this. I want to make this an issue?
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know what those back discussions are. But to make the decision unilaterally, quickly, in jumping on board and saying this is what's going to happen, I think that's...
And not much flat... I mean, you got a little pushback of some guy that legitimately has a severe lack of talent. like that NASCAR. I don't even know his name.
But they,
truck
they had to
driver.
Google it, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was such a cute comment.
But like no pushback from any of the stars or the historic star. You know,
Be like you telling him, "Hey, I'm not going to drive."
Yeah,
Oh, it's the
literally.
opposite. You looked at Dale Jr. came out and talked about how his dad would have felt about the situation. I think it shut a lot of people
Yeah,
up.
Yeah.
He was on the same page as everybody else. I just think when you saw all the drivers and all the crews out there pushing that car, I think you saw that the
powerful.
drivers are fed up with this. The drivers are ready to make a change. And
Yeah.
Tim, I just want to call you out on your severe lack of talent. You said that Bubba Watson
I
would
did
come out.
that.
And, Bubba Watson probably wouldn't have come
No,
out.
I
and
just did
spoke
say
about
Bubba
NASCAR.
Watson. That was my fault. I was thinking my next. My bad. On that, yeah.
Just to close the thoughts here on that, it's like in times like this, what we're all experiencing, seeing, even here in our community, we get called to step up. And that's what they did. They
Yeah,
stepped
they
up.
did.
And like working at the Y, like there are times where we're called to really be a leader and do something for the community or just people. And you don't care about what some of those naysayers, someone had a great reference to just background noise. You
Okay,
just,
yeah.
you just let them go, but they did the right thing.
What a great transition into your scape.
I know, right? So the scape was Michael Fulp in North Carolina, right? He's the owner of the 311 Motor Speedway. You're gonna like totally grow. Like I don't have all of the details, but he's selling the Bubba rope for $9.99.
This guy goes out and tweets that he's going to start selling.
What an
Bubba.
idiot!
I mean, you have to know when you're. I mean, when you're texting that or you're putting it out there, you have to know you're going to get in trouble.
I mean,
You probably didn't
does
care.
he not have another person on staff that's like, wait a minute, maybe.
Just maybe I'd like to keep our job and not close down.
And kudos to the North Carolina governor for coming out and speaking against them. I think
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
kudos to that at least.
Thank
But I mean,
goodness.
it's just.
And for what it's worth, he took down. It was a Facebook ad, and he took it down. Quickly deleted it, but
Once it's
I mean,
there, it's there.
online,
That's what
and you can't take it back now.
It's one of those things where you sit there and you
You
wonder if the
think.
filter was there. Like, hey, this is funny. Well,
Maybe it's not as funny
maybe it's not
as-
as funny as I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in time, maybe social media before you post it should have like a 30-second warning.
Yes.
Before you actually hit send.
Have
Are
you-
you sure
Are
you
you
want
Have you
this?
thought this through?
Are you
Now
sure?
you found another company that sold towing rope,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
that's
They
like
were-
And they're called Bubba Rock.
Their
Yeah.
brand name is Bubba. Talk about bad.
rebranding.
Bad,
right away.
That's just obviously they did not brand because of this. So
Because
you
he's
feel bad for
probably the guy's name is probably Bubba.
Bubba. Yeah.
Or he's making fun of rednecks and
Yeah.
say this is how you get your
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes, because it's like for larger trucks, right? Like big.
It's like
Yeah.
just an
Yeah.
unfortunate brand name for current events, kind of
Oh, God,
winding up
yeah.
with Corona. It was just
Yeah,
a little,
exactly. The
a little
beer of choice
unfortunate.
during the- No, I don't know how anyone, even if you don't have any sympathy for what's been going on, think that that's remotely going to put you in a good spot.
I mean, not a lot of people have heard of the 311 Motor Speedway, but I'll tell you what, no matter how big or small your brand is, you have a right to protect your brand. So what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, now here's
Yeah.
the flip side is now maybe he's saying that no one has ever heard of the 311 Motor Speedway, and now our show's talking
He
about
might have
so it's
done it.
gonna
He
go
might have
national.
literally done it on purpose. He might.
You've made it big when we
When
talk
we
about
talk
it.
about you. So,
Not surprised though that it came from a man. Y'all don't always think all the time.
there's a reason why we keep saying that. I told you there should be an app for drunk texting too. That says,
Oh my gosh, yes! A little breathalyzer before
Yeah.
you send the text.
Yeah.
Do
Absolutely.
you really want to send this?
I will support it.
Okay, I'm ready for my escape and my goat of the week. They are both going to revolve around baseball.
Okay.
Because your World Series Washington Nationals are back in action
Yes.
later next month.
Just bring it, right?
My escape. No, I'm going to start with my goat. My goat of the week is the San Francisco Giants. Great story that came out last night and this morning. They're season ticket holders. Whether they understand or don't understand that they can't be at games to start off the season or for the whole season, whatever that may be, their big thing is that they want to be represented. Well, the San Francisco Giants have announced that if you're a season ticket holder, you can send in a cardboard cutout of yourself, and they will put it at your season ticket seat for the game. Well, I mean, just what a great good press story
That's
for the San
cute.
Francisco Giants. So huge kudos. To them.
Yeah, they should all do that.
But as so I'm a season ticket holder for the Caps.
Yeah.
Okay? And if they sat there and said to me, hey, we want your photo so we can stick it in the stands, I'm going to be like, have you lost your mind? I want to be at the game.
But you can't. You gotta know that you can't, and it's not their fault.
Is there going to be like eyeballs? There are cameras in there? So
That would be
So I
cool.
can feel it? So I will tell you.
Which leads me, though, to my scape of the week. Still has to do with baseball, and I hope that everybody out there, I mean, we just had a spike in viewers when this is coming up, because I'm about to mention you guys on here. The scape of the week is my entire Facebook feed. My Facebook feed, who has been blowing up about how baseball has destroyed itself. They'll never watch another MLB game, yada, yada, yada. All of those people could not be any more excited to see baseball coming back right now. They were the first ones to post about it. So I am calling you all out on your hypocrisy because baseball is back. I am excited just like you are, but it was only a matter of days ago that there was a vow to never watch baseball again.
You know, I think the issue about not watching baseball again was the fact that they didn't get together.
Yeah.
That they didn't come together. And that they didn't make a decision to be a unified league and get out there and play. Now that they've come back, which you can take credit for, and you can take credit for it, the show can take credit
I'll
for it.
take credit for it.
We can, because we told
I'll
them
do it, I swear.
we told them that if they didn't come back to play,
Yeah.
we were going to host our own league. And I think that the pressure that we put on them made a difference to get them to come.
I mean, facts don't lie, so.
I mean,
on us.
we announced on the show last week how we were going to come up with our plan, and mysteriously, just like that, they came together. And I think that does show the power
Of the show.
of the 5 people that we have watching the show,
Yeah.
including ourselves.
You're super powerful.
We won't be-
Well,
we
we
will not be
we've got,
silenced.
between the 4 of us and the one other person watching, we're in good shape.
By the way, real quick, I don't think you should cut your hair. I like
Thank
it.
you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm
So
sitting here
take
staring
that,
at
Mark.
your hair.
Take that,
and it's
Mark.
like so pretty.
Thank you.
So,
Take it, Mark.
I mean, but I think people are excited about playing baseball. I think they're going to be excited to watch.
It just shows that there was also a lot of emotion in there, and it's good to be emotional
Yeah.
with that. Either they were mad and now they're happy, but at least they were feeling something. It would have been so much worse if everyone's like,
Nobody talked about it.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who
They're
cares?
passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball, who cares? That would have been way worse. That being said, yeah, I mean, of course they're excited. you liars. You filthy liars.
All right, so it's to me.
It's
Oh,
you're
gosh,
up. You're
here we
up.
go.
All right, so my scapegoat of the week has to be Novak Djokovic.
Yeah.
Number 1 tennis player in the world decides that he's going to have a charity tennis match during COVID, full of stands full of people.
I would be there. He's gorgeous.
slapping high fives to everybody. Djokovic. Well, hey,
Okay.
Now this is why we have another perspective here, okay? Because clearly it's important. Decides to go out there, no social distancing. They're dancing, they're having fun after the before and after. They're next to each other. They're all hanging out. 4 people come out of there with COVID-19
So far.
so far.
So
Right.
far. I mean,
And not only does he had to come out and apologize, now I give him credit. He came back
Owned
and,
it.
and he apologized, but it absolutely puts in question the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And you
well,
would think that
was
tennis
the
would
U.S.
be one
Open
of the
planning on
easier
having
ones.
fans?
No, but now they're talking about they can't have as many linesmen. They can't. I mean, so John McEnroe would have a field day
Oh,
with this.
gosh.
But that means, I mean, you were talking about having to do tennis. You thought tennis was something you guys could do at the Y.
I just feel like maybe they didn't take the right precautions because I think if it's done right and you do have hand sanitizer, people wear masks that aren't playing, I think they'd be okay.
Because
I'm standing by that.
cornhole that they've done
They've been playing?
a lot, and
Yeah.
they've been obviously, but it's the same thing social distancing wise. But he said they weren't doing that at all. They were.
Well, it just
theoretically, I feel like you would be able to do it.
Right. I do too.
But his problem was that he had people in the stands.
I
He
think
didn't care.
I think they
He
had
didn't care.
5,000 people in the
Yeah.
stands.
5,000 people.
5,000.
What?
Duh.
Where was this?
The percentages. So
This
only
was-
4
this was
people
done
got
in
it. That's actually pretty good.
So far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back again. So
Also,
far.
maybe
It's
they
been
didn't do
days
screening.
since.
Maybe they didn't do the right screening.
Then yeah, no wonder he needs to come out and apologize. Speaking of
Yeah,
tone
I mean,
deaf, what's he
again,
doing?
that is why
Yeah, I don't-
he is my scapegoat of the week.
and rightfully so.
Now I'm going to take this way different, guys and gals,
Thank you.
for our goat of the week. This is greatest of all time. I'm going to go into the sport of fishing, and I know you're going to go, what? There is in the USA Today. And I wish I had this guy's name because he is the bravest. There's a picture of
You don't
him
have
on
his
there.
name?
No, it wasn't in the article.
Okay.
Just a
He
hero.
is-
Let's find him.
Just a hero.
This guy is fishing with another one of his buddies, shore fishing. Throws his line out there, catches a shark, starts to reel it in. His other buddy walks out into the surf to take the hook out of the shark. He is holding the shark, holding the mouth open, sticking his hand near, and pushing it in and taking it out. Now, I love sharks. I love fish. I love being in the water. I love all that. I've swam with sharks. I am not opening a shark's mouth. I don't care if it's this big or this big to stick my hand in there. So as far as I'm concerned, that fishing buddy is the greatest of all time.
How much beer had he had?
I was about to say, it's like, what are the chances that he was sober?
The shark might have known that he was trying to help and said, "All right, go in there,"
But I will say this: the guy was
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, if you've been in the
Cheese
water,
man.
a shark that's this big looks this big. So that is my
That's
my
great
greatest
one.
of all time. And if he wants to go fishing with me ever, shore fishing, we're in. So
I
we're
trust
in
you.
on that. So and I wanted we mentioned about baseball.
Yeah.
So I want to let you guys know that I have spoken to unnamed, unofficial, and unquotable sources at Major League Baseball, and they did give us credit for them
course.
coming back to play.
Of course.
So these are completely unnamed, unreliable, non-quotable
Unchecked.
sources. Unchecked. And unquotable.
Do they exist?
Yeah, in my mind. So the baseball is back. So let's talk about, with baseball coming back, we've got some new rules. So you've got extra inning rules where they're going to put a runner on second base. Probably a good idea.
Minor leagues have been doing it for 3-4 years now.
Yeah, probably
It's
a good
great.
idea.
It's
Shrink.
great.
Let's not have a 13, 15,
What-
17, 18 inning
What
game.
does an 18, 20 inning game actually do for anybody? All you've done is ruin your chances at your next 2-3
Yeah.
games because your bullpen shot. There's no benefit to having your right fielder have to pitch at some
Not
point.
even as a fan.
No.
Not even fans leave. No,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're at the game, you're not staying for that. Unless it's like, now in the playoffs, I don't think you should have the man on second.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. Just like in hockey, playoff rules in hockey.
Yeah, there's no-
They
yeah,
change.
they
There's
change.
no gimmicks. There's no 3-on-3. There's no shootout. So, but in the regular season, I love that rule.
Designated hitter for everybody.
Also love that.
Yeah. It's about time that the National and American League game are playing the same game. It's about time they're playing the same sport. I don't care if the pitcher hits. I don't care if they have a designated hitter for every team. Why? In the same level of baseball, are you playing a different sport? Because strategy is different. Your roster is different. Everything is
different.
with a
Wouldn't that be
DH
boring,
compared to a
though?
pitcher.
Designated
Having
hitter?
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
because I think it's boring when the pitcher gets up there and it's like, shoot. I mean, this is an out.
No,
But don't you think that, it adds, look, a pitcher hitting, with a wooden bat, ball comes, he hits it, it's going to reverberate through their hands. And
Yeah.
so there's that discussion about that. But it does add an interesting part, because there are some pitchers who can hit.
Now, there are some that can hit, but a designated hitter is going to be able to be a better hitter than any of those
Right.
pitchers.
Yeah.
Almost always.
It opens up more
thing is-
jobs.
Well, no, from
My-
a players' union standpoint, it's a great thing.
Now,
Yeah.
if you're asking what my preference is, when you grew up, you were taught to play the field and to hit in the game of baseball. There shouldn't. I've always held the opinion there shouldn't really be a reason that pitchers shouldn't be able to hit. However, I just go back to if I get to see more David Ortiz's.
I was literally about to say
If I get to see more David Ortiz's and less, name insert any pitcher here at the plate, I'm going to choose to watch David Ortiz. He's more fun to watch.
For sure.
Your designated hitter is going to be more fun to watch.
And you protect your pitchers.
You're protecting your pitchers to an extent. That's if safety's really what we're going to act like we're doing here, go for it. It's viewership.
It's definitely viewership.
It's viewership.
For sure.
However, there is a certain level of strategy to the game when you have to consider your pitcher coming to the plate. Same from other team standpoint and your own team standpoint. On do we pitch around this guy to get to the pitcher? Do I prefer personally? This is one of the things where I'm a traditionalist when it comes to baseball. I prefer seeing a pitcher hit. But to me, it's just about time that the National American League are playing on the same playing the same sport either way. I mean, that's what I think is what is most important. And I think that this lasts for 20 and 21, right? Mm-hmm. Is there any chance that after the new CBA in 21 that this isn't also carried over?
I think it's 99% that they're going to go.
Yeah, I think we've seen our
Full-time.
last pitcher hit other than maybe
that's it.
Ohtani when. Your shortstop gets the designated hitter for him.
Yeah.
Might actually hit Ohtani.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, when you start to think about this, it's about what fans want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So you watch baseball.
I have a confession.
Uh-huh.
My first game that I actually went to go see was 2 years ago for the first time.
Okay, but so you went to...
But it was,
you went-
and I loved it.
still.
I loved
but that's
it.
at the game.
I was at the game.
Would you watch it on TV?
Yes.
You can say no. No, so why would
okay.
you... But no, it's
Would I watch it on TV? Yeah. I mean, it's all about the atmosphere, too. Like, hanging out with friends, watching the game.
But that's at the stadium.
No. At someone's... Would I sit at my house by myself and watch baseball? No.
I will.
Neither would I.
But here's the question.
It's not playoffs, I'm not watching.
Why won't you do it?
It's not stimulating enough
It's
for me.
boring.
I didn't want to say that. But
No,
yeah.
it's okay to say
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I don't know if you've seen what's been going around. College Wooden Bat League down in Savannah, Georgia. The Savannah Bananas ran by Jesse Cole. I mean, he is just about as innovative as it gets to the extreme sometimes. Sometimes do they go too far to the point where it's like, well, that'll never work? No, but you know what? Sometimes that's the point of being creative, the point of being innovative. They obviously are being hit like any other league in America this year. And so Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas have created Banana Ball. Banana Ball with the Savannah Bananas.
Say it 5 times fast.
Banana Ball, Banana Ball, Banana Ball.
No, Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
All I know is this is so far I'm loving the team name.
Right.
So.
Savannah Bananas. I mean, that actually rolls off really easy.
Yeah, and so he is doing a one game, and it's called Banana Ball.
Do you have the rules up?
And it's I know some of it off the top of my head. And they have one game. And it's tonight,
Ooh.
and the rules are completely different. One rule. Okay, so these are some of the rules to make it more exciting. If a batter steps out, then it's an automatic strike. If
Okay,
it's-
I like
so
that.
it's an automatic strike. No mound visits. If he gets walked, he has to sprint, and the catcher has to throw the ball
Around the horn.
around the diamond to every single player until they get finished. The player has the ability to run and get as many bases as possible, so he can steal as many bases. Also, if he fouls with 2 strikes and he fouls and a fan catches the ball, he's out.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this.
And
Okay.
also,
Here we
this
go.
is the big one. They go by innings. So every inning they have a chance for a walkout. So they're going to 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
So if a team, let's say the Bananas are batting the bottom of the first. Let's say the other team scores 1 run in the top of the first. So they're winning 1-0 right now. If the Bananas have a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first, the innings are over. The Bananas have 1 point.
It gives you that walk-off feel every inning.
And then the first to 5 points, the first to win 5 innings, win the game.
Some other things here. Batters can steal first on any pass ball. So you can't make it to the catcher, you're going to get first base.
Okay, I mean these are making sense.
Yeah.
Well, here's the biggest kicker that we haven't even mentioned yet. the 2-hour time limit. Game's over at the 2-hour point.
Unless it's tie, then it goes to sudden death.
The one-on-one. This is probably my favorite part about the whole thing. Okay, baseball is a one-on-one sport when you think about it. It's pitcher versus hitter, and so the tiebreaker for banana ball rules is the pitcher versus the hitter, one at bat. If a ball is put in play, there are no fielders. It is the pitcher that will have to go wherever the ball is hit to, field the ball and race them, and they either will get out or hit a home run. That is how they break a tie. So if you,
look, I'm not saying how many of these could roll over to the regular baseball, but the reason why I asked you is that you said exactly what I think 90% of America is going to say.
Yeah.
On TV, unless it's the playoffs, you sit there and it is background noise.
Yeah.
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 And then, you're like, because you're like going, it doesn't get exciting until the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And and if that's it, or you're at the stadium with your friends, enjoying the day, the evening,
And then it's totally different.
Thursday, having a
It's
beer.
totally different.
Please don't hate me too. Who is the one, the really big player, Bryce?
Harper?
I was at the game where he tore, was it his ACL he tore? Or
I
where
hope
he was injured? Like
Shoulder. I think he hurt his shoulder.
no, something with his knee.
Huh.
Oh yes, when he was still playing with the Nationals, right? And
Who was this guy?
Who?
Who?
Oh my God, what?
Who?
I don't.
Who is this guy that you're talking? Who is this guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
Dead to me.
Yeah.
Dead to me.
There's somewhere in-
I'm gonna throw out. We got a pretty good comment on the.
I mean,
on the
a 260,
interwebs.
a 260 hitter, huh? What?
Matthew Varan, multi-time commenter, says that the pitcher should be hitting, but we let the pitchers use metal bats.
There you go.
Why? Hold on. Now
Hey.
explain that. Why? The only time I know there's a difference with hitting wood and metal was when they did it in the Sandlot. I was like, okay, so there's something important about this. Why?
You hit the ball a little harder with a metal bat.
I would think.
And
a little bit more.
And in college, they used metal bats.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lighter bat
Okay.
feel,
Yeah.
so you'll
Yes.
generate more. You'll be able to swing
Bat speed.
faster versus because the bats all have different weights of wood, how heavy
yeah?
they are. Yeah. So,
Wait, do that again?
no. The bats all have different weights.
Wait, oh yeah.
I literally was watching. I was
I
like,
heard his giggle. I was like, yep, I'm gonna call
Yeah, you know what's really funny is I saw your eyes. I'm like, going, no,
I was like, oh, no, I didn't.
Now I know where she went. So, and that's our last time with them. So,
Can we zoom in on that one when he does that?
yes. It's when he stepped on that base and tweaked his knee.
And so my friends were like, that was my first game. They're like, you can never come back.
well, that's
I was like,
okay. Then we got rid of him anyway, so that's good to go.
A lot of people thank you for that now.
You're welcome.
So, I think that's so good. That's the reason why baseball's got a problem.
Yeah.
I
Just,
mean,
and how long it is, especially in the playoffs. I mean, 4 hours. Game 7 was 4 hours.
I mean,
Without commercials.
I mean, pitchers should not be allowed to walk off the mound, consistently. And then, I understand the fact that some people have to readjust and they get situated in the box. But my God, some of these rituals that some of these batters have, gloves got to be undone.
Hey, guys,
redone.
I'm going to bring up a great name.
Dave Ortiz did it
Nomar Garcia Parra. I don't remember him, but he would practically undress all of his equipment and then put it back on between every pitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ew.
No,
I'm
his
saying
equipment.
that's so
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
just hit the
So-
ball.
David Ortiz would do it. He would step out and he would spin on his gloves, and then he would retie every single time he would retie his gloves.
Yep.
And they do that why?
But
Just their ritual?
The creature of habits.
Yeah.
Just
He's
to
got to
keep
feel
them.
comfortable, and
Keep their
after
rhythm.
he did his swing, now the gloves aren't as tight. And he wants. Look, I mean, when you're making the money some of these guys are, I mean, you're gonna do whatever it takes to try to.
But you'll
stay
still
in
make
way.
that money even if you don't take your glove off and put it back on.
I think that's a rule that could stick. The stepping outs, the strike.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the no mound visits, especially when you get to the playoffs. I mean, they have one, another mound visit, another mound
I
visit.
mean, I think the catcher has a right to walk out there.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. But
But
then
coach-
you have the catcher, then you have
The
a
right
coach,
fielder.
and then it's just like it just gets too long.
So, it's all right.
Yeah, I would love to see. I'm a traditionalist to an extent. I feel like I'm a happy medium in there. It needs to be faster. It needs to be faster. We need to capture the fans' momentum. Another thing about mound visits is momentum.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that they could just send a coach out there to kill the momentum of the other team who's on the
I
street.
mean, there's also the fact that they're doing it to give the guy in the bullpen time to warm up. But I mean, if your player needs to have time to warm up, you should have probably warned him up.
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly.
That's coaching. I mean, it's coaching.
Are we done talking about the banana thing?
That was kind of all in.
You should bring that to Fredericksburg, though. is
Yeah,
what
why
I'm
can't
saying.
we?
Why can't we do
this?
Yeah.
Well, that is extremely out of our hands.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a league out there that would want to play games at
But why
Fredericksburg.
why can't we hire 40? Well, all right. So
Okay. Walk myself right into this one. All right, everybody get ready.
So now I'm going to go ahead. My other scapegoat of the week was going to be you, general manager, and we agreed last week not to bring too much of your job into this. But this one's so.
No, this is too good. This is
so good. Adam Noose, who is the general manager for the Tennessee
Nashville Sounds,
decided to go out and hire 40 free agent baseball players that have a season, and they're going to play two teams against each other.
Look, I can't.
What's stopping you there, GM?
I can't confirm or deny, but I'd be willing to bet, based on what our show said last week, that Adam Noose must be a listener of the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he is, but he's a doer.
Oh!
Gets things done.
Yeah.
I guess we're all talk. I mean, I really don't. First of all, I would like to say it's a great idea.
So
they're going to have so much fun.
Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
No pressure.
The other thing too, without getting too political, Erdo, you know much about Tennessee's laws on COVID right now? Pretty lenient.
Okay, so what you're saying, and I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh yeah.
So what you're saying is, if we can get the rules restricted. Obviously I'm not going to get drafted in the first round. Okay, so I'm okay
with the
that.
second round.
Second round.
Standing a chance.
Now, when they have to go down, they have to fill the position of bench warmer or bench cleaner
Water
or
boy.
water boy. That's no, don't give me that much talent. I'm like the guy that has to go there and clean the sweep. I'm like the janitor talent.
Throwing hot dogs out in the stands.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know if I can throw a hot dog. I mean,
Oh, God, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Liability, okay.
Yeah, all right. I mean, why can't we do something like that?
No, I think it's definitely something that we're
Or why
going to be doing.
I'm sorry, I won't put you all the way on the spot.
No, for
because
sure.
I'm kind. Why can't other minor league teams be able to take advantage of it?
For sure, I think states like Tennessee, Texas, I'm sure there's other ones out there. South Carolina. There's ones that I'm familiar with, so this is not politically pointing anywhere, but those are the states that could probably manage to do this a little bit more. They would just be able to pull this off just because of where they're at with attendance. Right now, July 1st, Virginia enters into only still our sports venue would only still be able to host 1,000 people.
So
they're already at 2,500. They're getting ready to open up to even more.
I mean, 1,000 would probably be more than what we deserve to have as a state for us to watch us play. But
We're still on that.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. But I mean, hey, Ralph, this is for you. I know the governor's watching.
Of course.
Obviously.
Obviously, the governor's
Long time
watching.
listener, first time caller.
I think this is. I know the General Assembly. I mean, everyone's getting in there. Maybe we should get this done so we can have a little fun here in town.
We love to. And Tim, I'll tell you right now, because you're right. We don't have to worry about 1,000 or more people showing up if we're the ones playing. So, therefore, if you put together a team, let's make it happen. How about that?
All
We'll tell you that.
All right, there we go. Hey, wow.
Because
it's time to be a team owner. Yeah.
that is one thing I don't have to worry about is hitting that 1,000 fan for that.
No, you will not have to worry about that. No. If my dream was ever to own a baseball team, here's my chance. So, while we're on baseball, while we're talking about people who had something interesting, Blaze Jordan was drafted 89th in the last draft. He is a 17-year-old baseball player. He had committed to Mississippi State at the age of 13. Now, how that happened, I got no idea.
There has to be rules looked at.
They're not even in high school yet.
He hit a 500-foot home run.
Wow.
When he was 13. So
reminds me a lot of myself.
The Boston Red Sox offered him $1.75 million at the age of 17. He is going to college, and he is going straight into the minor leagues.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean,
good for him.
I mean, to me, all that requires is a high five.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take advantage of his talents.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
there's when you get into, and you know, every single person out there has their own decisions to make. So by no means am I telling you that this is what you should do. But if you can be taken within the first 2 to 5 rounds, probably in the Major League Baseball draft, that's some tough money to pass up.
Well,
You're talking millions in a signing bonus. That's tough money
But
to
not
pass up.
just that. Like, if he were to go to college, he has to take this opportunity because you can get an injury and they could be
Absolutely.
over. So why not do
Yeah.
it now?
Or what happens if you don't show out in college? Now, could he have increased? Now, the other thing, could he? And this is the debate.
But
always.
that's enough money.
Yeah,
Who cares
yeah.
if you could have got
Yeah.
more? Like, that's enough money.
If you're
money.
going to be great,
Oh, don't do that.
start it now. Why not?
So just to give you an
third
idea,
round, right?
Yeah, second or third round.
That
Third round,
normal
yeah.
position would have normally would have signed for right around $660,000.
Wow.
Oh, so
And
they
he got
gave him
one
the
point-
extra
you do
money.
now. Usually,
Wow.
you will see
Interesting.
that. Usually, though,
So-
you will see your high schoolers and your Dominican players make a little bit more. I'm sorry, and foreign players make a little bit more on their signing bonuses than you will see the college juniors and seniors as they come out. That is
To lure you away.
Yeah, to lure you away because
Yeah.
they know that you have the other options. And actually, too, there's, you know, that doesn't look like we have time right now, but I could go into, it's actually, you pay much more to be able to talk to the foreign players, like with the players that come from the Dominican. You're actually paying much, much more to even have conversations
But
with them about signing.
with this, the interesting thing about that is you don't even know how old these kids are.
You're right.
No, you
Because
don't always.
those birth certificates are doctored left and right.
Yeah, the rules are more like guidelines.
The Dodgers player, big guy. What was his name? He plays for the Reds now.
Otani.
No, not Otani.
I mean, Otani was also who is with the Red Sox now, but in the center of all that news.
I cannot think of the huge dude.
Yasiel Puig.
Puig.
Yasiel Puig.
They came in, he's like 21, 22. It's like, that dude is 40. That dude has a grandkid on the
Guys,
way.
everybody, I'm just gonna go far back into my memory box. I'm gonna go far back into my memory box real quick.
Yeah.
Remember Danny Almonte?
No.
Oh man, Danny Almonte, Little League World Series. It had to be back maybe.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
2000.
Somebody got excited.
Somewhere between
Yeah, this kid was like this
Yes.
tall against
Yeah.
kids like
Yeah.
this tall.
Yeah. And everyone was like, oh, he's just a freak of nature. No, he's 17 playing against 12-year-olds.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, I remember that now.
I remember that now. Yeah. So interesting thing. Now you're a Redskin fan,
Yes, I am.
and you two, you're a Bills fan, and you're an SEC fan. So interesting thing that came out this week, and I really want to talk about this because I wonder. This is a what if. A report came out that Peyton Manning had been in discussions with Kyle and Mike Shanahan, and had sat down and spoken to them, and had expressed an interest in coming to Washington.
Oh my god.
But
In
instead
what type of role?
as a quarterback.
When he was a free agent.
But instead, Washington drafted up and took RG3. So now here's the question. Now, remember, the Redskins
well-
at that time had Pierre Garçon.
But RG3
Who
was drafted the same year as Andrew Luck. That time frame is a little
Who
weird.
was the running
Yeah,
back?
that-
we
That was,
had?
He was becoming a free agent.
Yeah, that was the same.
Who was
the
that great
time.
running back we had when we had RG3? They were such a dynamic.
Clinton Portis.
Was it Portis? Oh, who am I thinking of? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Look it up.
I am.
But the thing, we had Pierre Garçon.
Garcon was one of my favorite
Okay,
players.
and if you guys don't know the story, we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah?
He was drafted for Peyton Manning because of his work ethic. So it's not that there wasn't tools here, but two things. So my two questions. Would Peyton Manning have playing for Washington made Washington better, or would it have been the demise of his standing as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time?
That's such a great question.
Okay,
because I could-
Like,
So,
do you think
first of
he
all-
was good enough to overcome all the
yeah.
But
problems
keep
with
in
the
mind,
Redskins?
the Redskins had in that first year of RG3.
Let's turn this to our residential Peyton Manning expert. Hi, the name's Nick. Okay, so
I love Peyton Manning. Do you not like him, though?
No.
Okay.
Peyton Manning's greatest quarterback
Good.
of all time.
Okay, glad. Okay.
I will debate it to my
I didn't want to
death.
slap you across the head if you said something mean.
Both.
Just do it anyway.
But
Okay.
is Peyton Manning going to make the Redskins from that time period better? I mean, come on, duh. Would it have affected would he have won another Super Bowl? No, he wouldn't have. The other thing too, what was RG3's one of his biggest demises? What was that?
Injuries.
His but
ACL.
why? It was
didn't
the
have
training staff on the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning, when he went to the Broncos, he was not done with his injury plagued career.
Yeah.
They were still dominant with him missing some games. If the Washington Redskins training staff would have possibly treated Peyton Manning the way that they treated RG3, it's possible Peyton Manning would be walking today.
Yeah.
They might. Well, don't you think they would have upped their staff? They would have maybe to have somebody in Detroit.
You'd also
somebody
think
like
that
him.
about having the number 1 overall draft pick.
Well, number
Peyton-
two,
number-
but they also traded
Number
3
two.
first-round
Well,
picks for him.
number one,
So
Peyton Manning would have come in, I think, very similar to Tom Brady, where, hey, this is my training staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, yeah, that's totally fair,
This
too.
is my training staff.
The quarterback is just like a point guard. They lead the team. I think
Oh, yeah.
like it could have been something like a legendary season for the Redskins.
Oh, for sure.
And
You're very right, because you think about it, when RG3 went down, we saw the beginning of Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins did just as well inside that offense. But what would the difference have been with Peyton Manning?
They would have. The Redskins would have been much better. But if we are comparing the weapons that Broncos team had compared to what the Redskins had, I'm not saying the Redskins didn't have weapons, but the Broncos
were-
team that there's not going to be another offense probably assembled like that since the 2001 Rams, greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
I mean, those two offenses reign atop all offenses probably ever in the history of the NFL.
That offense was unbelievable. But if you look at that 1 year, injury aside, the Redskins, they made the right decision. RG3 was a beast.
God, he was.
Oh, yeah.
He
fun to
was
watch.
a
He really
beast. But the Redskins organization did him wrong. I feel very, very. I mean, RG3 has done some PR moves.
But his RG3, as a side subject, his career rebound, he's done phenomenal things with the Ravens.
Yep.
Yeah.
His maturity level with the Ravens is amazing.
Next level,
I don't
for
know,
sure.
did he ever really have maturity problems?
Yeah, he just said
he
things.
wasn't a team
He just
leader.
said
Yeah.
things that were kind of strange. Like,
was young.
He was young.
He was
didn't,
young,
and he didn't
immature.
take enough responsibility at times. He wasn't like a diva or this. He just
Well,
did it.
Dan Snyder didn't help him. I mean, Dan Snyder just basically.
He just needed guidance.
Wasn't there a
He needed
social media
guidance.
thing with him and his wife? They
Yeah.
just didn't kind of it just wasn't.
He needed
that's-
guidance. He just needed guidance.
Yeah.
But the other thing that we were robbed from on that. Can you imagine 2 games a year of the Manning Bowl?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
so for 2-3 seasons, we lost the ability to have. I mean,
And Eli was good then.
Eli
was good then.
I would have told you that as a fan of Peyton Manning, I couldn't have been happier that he went to the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think
Did
that
his
the
thing.
Broncos were willing to put tools around him. I think that the ownership out there is better. I think that having
Elway.
John Elway as a leader was better. So as a person who looks at Peyton Manning as just a quality person for the game of football, I couldn't have been happier for him to do that.
Yeah.
As a person who would like to be a Redskin fan once again, all that goes through my
Yeah.
mind is, well, if we had him, Dan Snyder just would have screwed it up anyway.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised with what you can accomplish under pressure. Who knows what those challenges would have had him do? He's like that person in life that can just face challenges and not be like scared away. Like I think it could have changed him into, I'm not saying better than what he is now, but
But his resume
But,
could have been even.
I think the other thing though too is that you made the comparison earlier. I'm going to double down on that. Peyton leaving for the Broncos or really leaving period, it's a lot like what Tom Brady just did. It's a lot like Tom Brady just did. And Tom Brady made that decision based on what was promised on what you would put around me. Because, Tom, he's got 2 or 3 years left. Peyton, he had 2 or 3 years left. I think that, like you said, the Broncos showed they wanted to go out.
Yeah.
We don't know all the decisions behind the scenes, so maybe he was willing to go there, but maybe Dan Snyder kind of said, hey, here's the plan that we have in place. You know,
Yeah.
Peyton might have said, I need a little bit more on the line. I need a
Yeah.
little bit more X, Y, and Z. And he said, no, this is all we can afford. It should be enough.
Well,
He was paid very nicely.
The sad thing
Yeah.
about that whole thing is when you look at how Peyton Manning is in the state of Colorado as much as he is in the state of Indiana, or even down in New Orleans, down in Louisiana, you know,
Tennessee.
and in Tennessee,
Very much in
so
Tennessee.
talk to a guy that owns the Midwest. For
Yeah.
the fall, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word. You know, he brings a air of winning. He brings a championship spirit. He brings this is how we get things done. You know, this is not about just show up and collect a check.
Yeah.
I think that had he been there, and the Redskins had decided to trade up for RG3,
Oh,
what a different player RG3.
Oh man.
God,
Wow.
could you?
Oh,
That just gave me a little bit
Wow.
of chill bumps, like
Yeah.
the butterfly effect.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
a few things different.
Just
could change.
imagine that if your career, yes, you want to start, yes, you want to be the guy.
Yeah.
But you're given 2 years or 3 years to truly say, look, you know the team's going to be yours. There's no question you're the next guy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You need to learn
Gosh.
from this guy.
Man.
He's having a
I'm
moment.
going to go through that
Yeah.
once again. Now, who is Brock Osweiler? He never would have gotten signed by the Texans because Brock Osweiler is the one that relieved Peyton Manning in Denver when he got injured, and we thought he was great. Well, you know, we were wrong.
Yeah, he was very interesting because he, for Denver, had some good games.
Yeah.
And then got like a $70 million deal
Yeah.
with the Houston Texans and was awful.
Horrid.
But again, think of if you had 3 years to
And it was
truly,
RG3. Like, he's
to take look.
Aaron
if you-
Rodgers.
If you don't think that RG3's throwing arm was amazing, his running ability was amazing. If you give him 3 years of tape study, you give him 3 years of how to understand the game better. Not that he doesn't understand it, but you give him all of those tools.
Yeah.
You talk about somebody who is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Could have been crazy good.
That makes me
I mean,
sad.
you
Like
look-
that didn't happen.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's the same thing. Aaron Rodgers came in, sat 3 years under Brett Favre, another pretty good quarterback. And look what Aaron Rodgers became.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, would he have become that without it? Debate for another day.
Yeah.
Was there some of his skill set that learned from one of the best being Brett Favre? I like to think so. Would he still have been great? Probably. But
But it also, to counter the point, Peyton Manning, Brock Osweiler, Peyton Manning was such a control freak in these in the quarterback room. He didn't like giving up reps. He didn't like doing that. Maybe it actually would have been detrimental to RG3.
It's not, it's
Brain-wise,
the
but-
thing that made Peyton Manning great was that it was before is coming before, going after. All of the routine that
Work
he did, the work ethic and that. Did he want to give up reps? No, but was he someone who was willing to understand the long term of what his role would have been?
True.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's still about winning and winning big. And if he knew that his role was to be a somewhat of a mentor to RG3,
True. If it was that known.
I will say back then, was that before or after the max quarterback contract? I think it was still before.
No, it was after. Bradford.
after?
Bradford was the last one.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it was
the luckiest quarterback ever in the
Yeah,
history
yeah,
of the
that was
NFL.
the next year.
So
next
because that's kind of what I was thinking all of a sudden is where
It wasn't money,
that's
but
a
they
lot of
traded
money.
3 first-round picks.
Correct, but that's a
So-
lot of money to invest in a lot
Yeah.
of in your quarterback situation for 2 or 3 years, 3 first rounds, and all the money that would take to get Peyton Manning. That's a lot
Yeah,
of money.
that was
to
their
invest.
second year. Cam was the first one where he didn't get the
Okay.
big money.
All right, so enough about the getting our hopes up and being dashed, which is the key of being a Washington Redskin fan. Is to right now they're going to have a chance to win the Super Bowl, and then
Absolutely, we're definitely going to Super Bowl.
and then after I told these guys, you
Dwayne
didn't hear
Haskins.
this. I told them they asked me if I wanted to sponsor to help be a sponsor. And I go, if I can have like the first quarter for the first 3 games, I'm in. After that, I don't want to be in it. All right, so now we have another sport that's talking about coming back, and there's having problems with COVID and testing. The NBA.
Well, the NBA is not.
I mean,
They're
There are
arguing
more-
for different reasons.
But there are more players that have who the players. I mean, if I'm going to get the stat wrong, more players have tested positive than have agreed to come back already.
Their baseball's coming back, and I'm excited. Football, we're projecting that hopefully we'll still have football. I'm excited. Basketball's trying to come back. This is an uphill battle that has nothing to do with money in a lot of these sports. I'm going to throw that out there right now. I will not be surprised. Look, I want sports. I need sports. I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see sports.
Well,
For how long?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I also think that a lot of these players might say internally, not externally, they won't say this publicly, but inside they might say, we're going to play regardless.
Some.
And I think LeBron James, that's why you haven't heard much from LeBron on this whole thing. Because I think LeBron's saying, well, I'm playing. And if you have issues and you don't want to play, I understand, like his teammate, because
a high stamina position. You know what? This is a great example. A high stamina position, even in the NFL. Take Ezekiel Elliott being diagnosed with COVID-19. They're saying that the worst of the disease, it takes a 2-week course. We all understand that, but they're not talking about this is a respiratory, very severe respiratory illness. What does that mean for his stamina if he's able to come back this season?
Keep in mind, if I'm not a public health official, don't claim to be. This is not health advice.
Speak for yourself.
Help us.
But given the fact that we know that we're all at some point in time potentially going to get it, because the fact that it's
too contagious.
It stays out there. It's not a question of if or when. It's more of a when. That argument becomes a little bit harder to understand because, again, if you're a free agent this year, that might make sense. The reason why LeBron wants to play is LeBron doesn't necessarily want to play basketball for the sake of playing basketball. LeBron now realizes that this is his opportunity to make a social impact more than just a professional one. And give him the credit he deserves for wanting to take that stand.
For sure.
And his team's very much poised. If his whole team comes back, his team's poised to win a championship.
I mean, yes, I would say that they are, but I think LeBron and a lot of other NBA players want to have a stage to do something positive.
Yes.
And to that, and that's why I think some of them don't care if some of the other players don't want to come back.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think that's why, because they're like, look, that's your choice. That's fine. The reasons for some of these players to want to come back is more than just about winning a championship. It's more than about the money. It's more than that, and I think that's the part that's important to keep in mind.
I don't know.
Is Florida the right place for them to be?
Is that good for anybody to be?
I mean,
I'm sorry. There are too many funny. I know people down in Florida. It's okay. They make fun of it too.
Yeah, I mean,
But my thing about it too is that I'm sure there's been internal conversations, but these players do have to be careful on that, and they are so far. And I'm talking about through every sport, not just NBA.
Right.
You're not going to be able to fault other players for not feeling comfortable to come back.
100%.
Just like with work.
And the first player to come out and criticize a teammate or an opponent to do that, they are going to get blasted. They have to be careful.
I didn't write it down, but one of the NBA players gave one of the other players crap because he said he wasn't going to come back, and I forget which one it was. And it's not right.
Yeah, handling this, you're going to have to be walking on eggshells.
The Wizards, their power forward, I forget his name. He's not coming back because he's going to be a free agent, and they haven't discussed his contract. Okay, I mean, I can kind of understand that. And you're playing for the Wizards.
Yeah, there's no chance.
And the Wizards are the last team that made they were the courtesy person of the dance because they needed an extra teammate. They needed an extra dance partner. But where do they go? I have no idea.
What are your thoughts on them starting, like playing or not playing? Because just like you mentioned, it's a matter of when you're going to get it. So it's going to happen regardless. So do you think that sports should come back? Because
I think everyone needs to make their own decision about when it's going to what they feel comfortable with playing.
Yeah.
But whether they get it playing on the field, whether they get it from their next door neighbor,
right.
whether they get it going to the grocery store,
right.
wherever that comes from, the key about sports coming back is, do we bring it back en masse for people? Where you're going to have 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 people. packed in, waiting in line at the hot dog stand, whatever to
Yeah.
get done. That's a problem.
That is a
Because
problem.
because you are adding to that chance.
Yeah.
If you're looking at players that are playing against each other in certain sports, tennis that you brought up,
Yeah.
probably not as big a deal. Well,
Golf.
until Djokovic did hit what he did. Golf, obviously, less of an issue.
Yeah.
Hockey's talking about going full face mask. Football's talking about something similar to
Yeah.
that. Basketball, it's a lot harder, and I will
There's
give those.
all that contact.
Yeah, that's a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, these other sports have pads. I mean,
Right.
just the pads
Wouldn't it?
itself, and
Yeah, I
you
mean-
could say required to wear gloves in football. You know, if you have to wear gloves, like the little things like that.
So
Basketball, there's
You're just- yes.
you're literally just sweat on sweat. You know,
But keep in mind that these players, if you look at the rest of the world, okay, we were open during COVID because we were deemed an essential business. Our people are going home. They're interacting with their families. Those family members are at home interacting with whomever it may be, whether they're going to the grocery store or wherever. So the opportunity to be infected is going to be the same in theory, no matter what they're doing. It's just a question about everybody else that happens
Right.
to. Now, if I'm a player, I have firsthand knowledge of a good friend of mine who did come down with COVID, and it did not react well to him. He is very lucky to be alive.
Wow.
He's very lucky, but he's experiencing a lot of lingering effects after.
Yeah.
That's why I said it is a decision that they all have to make, knowing
Right.
this disease is this virus is out there.
Yeah.
Is there ever going to be a vaccine? I'm not a virologist. I couldn't tell you if that's the case. But to go a little bit more back to where we normally are on this, if we don't get sports back soon, we're going to be stuck with what everybody else is putting on TV. And the worst thing I have ever seen on TV, I saw Gary Busey pet judge. So, I mean, that is the bottom of the barrel that we have reached to, that they have given Gary Busey his own judge TV show where it is Gary Busey pet judge. So, I mean, if there's nothing that says sports need to come back from the standpoint of the ability to have to watch something, or the social justice side of it, or just the America needs a break from all of the craziness that's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, something to watch other than
For sure.
CNN or MSNBC or Fox
The
News.
mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have to have something to talk about, so we're running out of that. So I mean,
We're gonna start our banana league.
yeah. We gotta. Why can't we do that?
Yeah. Or kickball. Or dodgeball.
Oh, kickball.
That would be fun.
I- whoa, this is my idea.
Wait a second,
This is my
dodgeball.
idea.
You can't be picking off kids like that in dodgeball. I mean,
Again.
First off, it's adults.
Oh,
Were you hit pretty hard
I was
back in the day?
I was hit pretty hard back in the day. Look, we have no talent for a reason, okay? I was a swimmer because it was non-contact. So,
Walking around in your Speedo.
there you
Yeah.
go. Hey, I have no shame. That's
You
why I
have it on right now.
That's why I do this TV show. So, what? So, gang, we can go longer.
Oh, of
because
course.
there's so much more stuff that we can talk about. But we've gone over an hour right now, and I think our viewership keeps dropping off every second as we go. So, this is a great show. I had a great time with you guys and gals.
Thank you.
We have so much more we can talk about next week. We'll have more sports going on. It's great to have you here and joining us.
Yeah.
You excited about it?
I love it. This is nice. I like to talk, so.
Yeah. So do we.
All right, this is Tim Pohanka,
Devlin Riley.
Robbie Perry.
Nick Hall.
and we'll see you on the bench. Well, 7 back.